Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach podcast. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach, and today on our 800th episode special, we have a question that we're going to be answering from Instagram. Abu Ayer asks, your learnings and failures in your journey so far. Now, I've taken this to mean the failures and learnings in my podcasting journey so far. And I think, every time I do a podcast on like my 500th episode, 800th episode, it is always so overwhelming to share with you how this journey began, how it's transformed my life completely. And I think the most touching thing is the way that you as the listeners have accepted this whole podcast that we've created. Now, when I wanted to start a podcast right in the beginning, I had a very myopic view, right? It was this, I have something to say, let me say it. I have something that I want to share, let me share it. But then over a period of time, I started learning and I started understanding how we can build a community together. And nowadays, when I think of the podcast, every time I record, I'm always thinking about you as the listener and how I can learn from this. And I think that for me was a big change. I think my myopic view, and you can probably notice this in the first few episodes of the podcast, was very different. And I think it was a semi-failure compared to the way that now I think about it. And I feel so grateful every time I sit down and record an episode. The key learning for me throughout this journey has been consistency. Like, I think we've missed one episode over these last 4.5 years for the podcast. And one episode because I think we had a 5-day weekend and everyone said, no, please, Ashdin, please give us one day off, yaar. How much are you going to push us to keep editing all these podcasts? So I think, and also I probably have to give you listeners a break from time to time. So from me. So I think this was a way that I learned about consistency, and I learned that the only way to be consistent at something is to create a system at something. And here at the studio, we have a very, very robust system now of how we record our podcasts. How do we think of topics? How do we get our guests in place? If you don't have a system, you're constantly just struggling against the entire process. You're creating so much friction, and those elements will lead you to failure. If you have a system, if you work on it, if you tweak it, no way that the failure will stop you. You'll keep learning from this and continuing. And like I keep saying, failure is a good thing. Because failure is a teacher. But failure is only a teacher if you learn from it. Only if you ask, what is this failure teaching me? Now, 800 episodes. I can't wait till 1,000 episodes, 1,500 episodes. And, as soon as I think of 800, I was like, wow, imagine what's coming next. And that's when I have to pull myself back and say, Dhakkan, forget about what's coming next. Even if no episodes come out next, enjoy this particular moment in time. Enjoy this particular aspect of 800 episodes, the amount of love that you've created, the amount of learnings that you've created through the podcast. And the reason I want to share this is because it's human nature, right? To go into what's next. And it is human nature for all your friends to ask you what's next. And it's very frustrating. So you have to keep coming back into this moment saying that, wow, I can't believe something like this is taking place. And I truly, truly, from the bottom of my heart, feel grateful when I start, receiving messages like this, knowing that y'all are listening, knowing that there are elements of your life that this podcast is impacting. So that always makes me feel fantastic. And I think the last two learnings from this entire journey is, one, don't try doing everything alone. Get yourself a team. Ask for help. Collaborate with people, because when you're together, you're much, much stronger. Imagine if I had tried doing this podcast by myself, I would have stopped it on probably the week 1, right? But because I partnered with IVM, because I saw our studio engineers, our producers, and the whole team working to it, I knew that it's not just up to me. It's all of us working together. I can't let them down. They can't let me down. And I think that is a fantastic learning for me. And the last learning for me is how something tiny can create a big, big, big ripple in the world around you. Normally we think, if I just do this small thing, what change can it make? I just record a 5-minute podcast. I have no idea the kind of lives that it impacts till y'all write in and tell me about it. And then I was like, my God, I didn't even imagine this would be possible when I was just recording 5 minutes of me talking. So thank you so much for listening, being a part of this journey. You have no idea how grateful I feel, and I'm going to be putting out lots more of these podcasts for us 10,000, 20,000 episodes later. Let's see. Now, if you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am at Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. We have a brand new habit coaching online course, quizzes, videos, and a lot more on the website awesome180.com. So check it out now.